The digital motherhood economy. Nobody taught you the laptop screen glowed in the pre-dawn quiet, the only light in a house still sleeping. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, caught between exhaustion and something else, something that felt dangerously close to hope. She wasn't supposed to be here. Mothers were supposed to choose, weren't they? Career or children, ambition or presence. As if the heart could only hold one dream at a time. But here's what nobody told her. The digital economy doesn't care about those old rules. It doesn't ask if you have childcare sorted or if your workspace is a corner of the dining table. It just asks if you're willing to start. The coffee had gone cold again. Another morning balancing the noise of the house and the quiet question she kept avoiding. Can I really build something of my own? She wasn't chasing millions, just freedom. The kind that fits between nap times and school pickups. The kind that doesn't require permission or a resume gap explanation. What would you have done in her place? The idea didn't come from a business book. It came from the mess on her kitchen table, the things she already knew how to do, the problems she'd already solved 100 times without calling it expertise. That's the secret they don't teach in business school. Your ordinary is someone else's impossible. The systems you've built to manage chaos, the schedules you've color-coded, the way you've learned to communicate with a toddler mid-tantrum, those are transferable skills with market value. She started noticing the patterns. Other mothers asking the same questions in online groups. The same struggles showing up in different words. What if she could package what she already knew? Part of her still felt guilty for wanting more, as if ambition had to disappear when motherhood began, as if building something for herself meant stealing from her children. But then she remembered, they were watching, learning what was possible, learning whether dreams had expiration dates. According to recent data, women-led home-based businesses have grown 43% faster than other business segments in the past 3 years. The digital economy is being quietly revolutionized by mothers who refuse to choose between presence and purpose. She took inventory of what she had, a phone, an internet connection, and knowledge gained from solving real problems. No fancy equipment, no business degree, no startup capital beyond the cost of a domain name. The first digital business model she explored was virtual assistants, not the corporate kind, the specialized kind. New mothers drowning in administrative chaos. Small business owners who needed someone who understood flexible hours and last-minute schedule changes. She smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. Then came the doubt. The kind that whispers louder than failure. Who would pay her? Why would anyone trust someone whose resume had a gap the size of early motherhood? She almost gave up until one message changed everything. A client who said, "I hired you because you understand what it's like to build something while building a life." Her second discovery was digital education, not grand online courses with cinematic production, micro lessons solving specific problems, how to meal prep for picky eaters, how to organize toy chaos without losing your mind, how to create a capsule wardrobe that survives toddler handprints. People paid for clarity, for someone 5 steps ahead who remembered what it felt like to be 5 steps behind. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress. It looks like staying present for the hard questions, staying committed when the numbers stay small. Staying curious when the obvious path doesn't fit your life. The third model surprised her most. Content creation with purpose. Not dancing, not viral trends. Just showing up with honesty about the messy middle of building a life that didn't fit conventional templates. Brands started reaching out, not because she had millions of followers, but because her audience actually listened. Micro-influence turned out to be worth more than she'd imagined. What part of this journey would you have chosen first? She learned about affiliate partnerships next. Recommending products she already used and loved. Baby monitors that actually worked, productivity planners designed for scattered attention, online tools that made digital work possible from a phone. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace consultation or assistance from a professional. Always consult a qualified professional for any questions related to finance, business, or investments. The fourth path was digital product creation. Templates, checklists, guides, solving problems she'd spent years figuring out. A meal planning spreadsheet, a budget tracker for irregular income, a client onboarding system that fit in your pocket. She priced them low enough that buying felt like less risk than figuring it out alone. They sold while she slept, while she read bedtime stories, while she lived the life she was building the business to support. Then someone suggested freelance writing. Not articles about motherhood, though those came later. Technical content, blog posts, email sequences. Businesses needed words, and she'd been writing her whole life without calling herself a writer. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. The sixth model was community building. She created a small membership space, not massive, just meaningful. A place where mothers building businesses could ask questions without judgment, share wins without apology, fail without shame. $15 a month. 50 members. Suddenly, she had predictable income and a community that carried each other through the doubt. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her. That thought still showed up sometimes. usually at 3 in the morning, when the numbers looked small and the path looked long. But here's what she learned. Success doesn't look the same from the kitchen table as it does from a corner office. And that's not a limitation, that's an advantage. Social media management for small businesses became her seventh avenue, not the kind requiring constant content creation. The strategic kind, the kind that understood brand voice and audience psychology because she'd built both from scratch. 3 clients, 5 hours a week each, income that covered groceries and then some. The 8th possibility was online tutoring and coaching. Not academic subjects, life skills, time management for overwhelmed parents, digital organization systems, how to start a side business without sacrificing presence. She charged what her time was worth, and people paid because her time had been hard-won. What helped her most wasn't just finding the right tools, it was realizing she didn't need permission to start small. She tested different approaches before finding what truly worked, and honestly, it changed everything. For those exploring similar paths, she found that platforms like Canva Pro for creating professional content, Shopify for simple product sales, and basic online course platforms made the technical barriers almost non-existent. This isn't a promotion, just something that made her path a little lighter. The links are below if you want to explore them. The 9th model was podcast guesting and speaking. Not as an expert with credentials. As someone with experience worth learning from. Small podcasts, local events, virtual summits for niche audiences. Each appearance built credibility. Each story told gave someone else permission to start. Then came the doubt again, different this time. What if this was selfish? What if her kids needed more of her? What if building something meant breaking something else? She looked at her children playing nearby, occasionally glancing over to see what mom was working on. They weren't asking for less of her. They were learning from all of her. The 10th avenue was collaboration over competition. Partnering with other mothers, building businesses, sharing audiences, cross-promoting products, creating bundles that serve to their communities better together than apart. The digital economy rewards connection more than it rewards competition, especially in the spaces mothers are building. By the end of her first year, she wasn't rich, but she was free in ways that money alone couldn't buy. Free to say yes to school field trips, free to work during nap times and after bedtimes, free to build something that grew with her life instead of against it. Her income came from 7 different streams, none of them huge, all of them meaningful. Virtual assistants, digital products, affiliate partnerships, content creation, community membership, freelance services, educational content. Sometimes growth doesn't look like hockey sticks on graphs. It looks like a life that breathes, like work that bends, like income that comes from being useful to people who need exactly what you know. The transformation wasn't dramatic. No viral moment. No sudden windfall, just consistent small actions that compounded into something she could build on. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot because this time, she wasn't rushing, she was building. The digital motherhood economy isn't loud. It doesn't have billboards or business school case studies. It's being built quietly by women who refuse to believe that becoming a mother meant becoming less. It's being built in morning hours and naptime hustle and late-night learning. In kitchen table businesses and bedroom studio content, in communities that trade support like currency and celebrate wins measured in freedom, not just figures. The infrastructure is already here. The internet doesn't close when kids get sick. The digital economy doesn't care if you're wearing yesterday's shirt. The opportunity doesn't expire when you step away to be present. What matters is this: you don't need everything figured out to begin. You don't need perfect conditions or perfect timing. You need the willingness to start scared, to learn publicly, to build something imperfect that serves someone perfectly. The mothers building these businesses aren't superhuman. They're simply unwilling to wait for permission that will never come. They're tired of choosing between dreams. They're done apologizing for wanting both. Maybe you're reading this during a stolen quiet moment. Maybe you're wondering if it's too late or too hard or too unlikely. Maybe you've been told that your season is about sacrifice, not building. Here's what she wishes someone had told her sooner. Your season is always, your timing is now. Your knowledge is valuable. Your ordinary is extraordinary to someone 3 steps behind you. The digital economy is vast enough for your specific voice, flexible enough for your specific life, patient enough for your specific pace. You don't need to burn out to build up. You don't need to choose between present and profitable. You don't need anyone's permission to start small and start now. Tell us what part of her story resonated with you most and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video. Bye.